Hey guys, let's talk about the optional essay section in the MBA application. Should you take advantage of this optional essay? Do they even read it or do they ignore it? Now, first things first, every admissions officer will review everything you submitted with your application. So that's settled. Should you take advantage of this section? You should take advantage of this optional essay only when you have something of value to add. Now, when I'm looking at my experience at the business school, I remember reading optional essays that were so impactful that made me want to pick up the phone and invite the candidate for an interview. And then I read some optional essays that added no value and I just moved on. Now, when you submit an essay that doesn't add much value, it doesn't necessarily impact your application negatively, but you end up wasting valuable time, both yours and the admissions officers. So please refrain from that. It's meaningless. Admissions officers spend so much time on reading applications. The last thing they need is more technical details that's not going to add anything to their decision-making process. Now, let's talk about some of the topics that you should be talking about in your optional essay. Let's say your undergrad GPA is not very competitive. So what do? You use the optional essay. You explain your reason. What happened in your undergrad that your GPA was not very competitive? Did you have to work throughout school because you couldn't get enough scholarships or you couldn't financially afford to go to school and you had to work? This is perfect. Just put it in the optional essay because it shows the admissions officer that you're resilient. You're actually giving them very valuable information about yourself. Or let's say your first year grades suffered because the major you chose was not actually something you wanted to do for the rest of your life. So it's good. You figured it out in the first year of school and you started exploring different areas and you found what you wanted. Your first year grades suffered, yes, but at the end of the day, you found something very meaningful. So again, the admissions officer reading this will know that you want to do something you're passionate about. So again, something super positive. And lastly, let's say you have a life-altering event. It could be good or bad, but it changed you as a person. Definitely put it down in the optional essay section. Let's say in high school, your family decided to immigrate and you found yourself in a different country, in a different school, and that's why your high school grades suffered and it was hard for you. Communicate these to the admissions officer because they want to know you. They want to get to know the candidate that they want to present to the admissions committee. Or let's say you got married and moved to a new country and you had to look for a job and there's a gap on your resume. Again, you can talk about it. And you don't necessarily have to move to another country to have a gap on your resume. It could be maybe you didn't enjoy the employer you were working with. Maybe there was a fit issue, or maybe the career, that particular role, that particular career track was not something that you enjoyed. So what you did, you decided to take some time off and explore your passions and explore another career track. Again, you're giving them something very valuable because it shows to them that you're not just going to work to make money, but you want to do something you enjoy. You're passionate about something. These are very important topics and you can definitely cover them. You should definitely cover them in the optional essay because these things add value to your candidacy. Remember, to get that invitation for the interview, you should do everything in your power to excite them beforehand. And if you share as much information, as much valuable information as possible in the paper application, you're going to improve your chances to get that interview invite. And remember, interviews are very important. They can be deal breakers. In my previous video, I talked about some interview tips. Definitely check it out because there are some useful tips that you can use. And in that video, I specifically talk about how to set the tone in the interview and how to attack strategic questions, tricky questions throughout the interview. So to sum it up, in today's video, what did we cover? We covered the optional essay. You use the optional essay only when you have something valuable to add to your application. A poor undergrad GPA could be one of them. A gap on your resume, another one. A life-altering situation, another reason to use the optional essay. Don't use this section just to bombard the admissions officer with more information especially more technical details that won't add any value to your application. So good luck, guys. You definitely got this. If you have any questions, drop me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Good luck. You got this.